everyone. Welcome back to Mended.
Are we starting from the beginning
We're
again?
starting from the beginning. Introduce yourself for the folks,
myself.
please.
My name is Ray. I am in recovery for the past 2+ years.
Almost 3.
Not 3 yet, but
Let's round it up.
Getting close. We'll round it up, I guess. Yeah. So that's where I am.
From the good old Revere.
From Revere.
Revere.
Close by.
Yep.
I didn't have to travel far to get here.
Not at all.
Which was perfect.
How are you feeling today with that much time?
Good. Actually feeling like a human being again. It took...
At what point did you feel like that started to really come back?
Honestly, I don't want to scare anybody.
No, be honest. We have to be honest.
But, like, close to 2 years before I was really starting to feel normal. Like, I figured, like, after a year... Honestly, I got clean before, like, probably 30 years ago from alcohol. And, like, after 30 days, I was, like, feeling sort of normal. Of course, I was half my age, and...
Things were different.
And things were different, and, you know, I wasn't doing heroin for 20 years, so, you know, that could be...
Yeah, your bounce back was a little different.
Yeah, my bounce back was different this time. Yeah, it was like over a year before I started feeling even somewhat normal.
I feel like a lot of people don't touch on the craving part enough. Like, I listen to a lot of people's stories, and I feel like a lot of the times people aren't like, I had craving. They don't... I feel like the message should be, right, how you were able to stay sober and how you're able to still today stay sober, but a lot of people don't touch on how bad it can get sober. I want to just touch on that really briefly, and, like, so that people can resonate with, I was a year in, I was a year and a half in, and I still wanted to use. I'm 2 years in, and I'm not. And if that isn't the case for you, that's not the case for you.
I am, like, not the person to ask that, because when I was done, I was done. I don't really get cravings. Like, I was just thinking, like, when I was just before my year came up, I was having drug dreams every night. Like, sniffing big reels every night in my dreams. And, like, normally, like, when you have dreams like that, you never actually do the drugs.
Yeah.
But I was, like, doing the drugs a whole, like, month before my first year. And luckily it never carried over.
So that was enough for you. You were getting high in your dreams, so it was fine.
Basically. And I was waking up every morning like, damn, did I get high last night? Like, I wasn't really sure, you know.
Because it feels so real.
It actually felt very real. But, yeah, like, I'm not, like, a God person, but, like, something took over, like, when I was getting high, I couldn't go an hour, you know. And then when I put it down, I don't know, it just was like, I put it down and something, like, erased my mind, like, to what was going on with me. I don't know how to explain it. As you know, I never slept for months and months, and
I don't know how you never ended up in a psychosis.
who says I wasn't?
I feel like you weren't. Clinically speaking, I feel like you weren't yet. You never made it there.
It felt like it,
I
though.
know.
Sometimes it was a little bit unreal sometimes, but, like, what was my point here?
That you didn't sleep.
Yeah, I didn't sleep, and, like, I couldn't go, like I said, like, an hour. And I was, like, I basically went into a detox, went in basically for a spin dry. I was there for about 9 days. And I had to get out of there. And
Why? What about that
I
experience?
just couldn't take it anymore. I was, like, hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, hadn't done anything, and it was like I felt like I would be better in my own bed.
But didn't have any desire to go back out and use.
Had no desire to go back out. I did something that I would not recommend to anybody. Like, they were bringing me down with some methadone, right? And they hadn't quite gotten me all the way down, but I knew I had some methadones at home. And I'm like, this is so wrong. But like I went home and I brought myself down the rest of the way. It's not recommended at all.
You microdosed yourself on methadone.
I microdosed myself for a couple of days. They were still in the cabinet, and I just left them there. And I was sick, but I didn't realize it.
So if you could have gone back, would you have stayed in detox a little bit longer? It's okay, truthfully.
I don't really know. I needed to get out of there because I wasn't sleeping, and I was just like.
Some people really do recover better in the comfort of their own home.
Yeah, and I was crazy, but it was like. But I was telling Dave the other day about. I was so sick for like the longest time, and finally it was like 3 months in, and I'm like, Jesus, you know what? I feel like I'm dope sick, right? And the whole group like gets hysterical laughing, and I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, of course you're dope sick. I'm like, but I didn't make the connection for some reason. Which was a good thing for me.
Yeah,
because
you didn't even know.
I didn't even know. Which I would know, like, that's why I couldn't go an hour, because if I started feeling sick, I would need something.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like 3 months in, not even realizing that I'm like completely dope sick.
Imagine.
So I feel like something took over my mind.
Did you know anything about pause or anything like that? Or did you learn about that after the fact?
I learned all that after the fact.
Yeah, I feel like I vaguely remember it. I feel like all of my early on education was based around you and your problems. It was like every day you were the class project. Like, how can we fix Ray?
See, I didn't know that.
It was like a group effort, though.
I knew you would be worried when I'd get in and you'd be like, "Did you sleep last night?" No, I was at Encore. No, I was at the gym because it was the only two places that were open.
Yeah, or you would just drive.
Or I would drive. And one night I went to Dunkin' Donuts 2 o'clock in the morning. I've never fallen asleep at the wheel. Completely clean. Fell asleep.
Out like a light.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how sleep deprived you were.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Like when I think of it now, I'm like, oh my God, how did I survive?
I know. That's what I was worried about. I'm like, you're gonna kill someone or yourself. You can't drive on. No, I'm going on 6 months here now doing check-ins with you, and you have yet to sleep. What are we doing? I was genuinely nervous.
Yeah, I was getting a little nervous myself. Because, like, how long can you go without sleep?
Well, I mean...
And people think, like, I'm exaggerating.
No. There's no exaggeration. There
Like,
was no sleep.
There was no sleep.
You had no color.
Every now and again, I'd, like, doze off for 12 seconds in group. That was the amount of sleep that I got.
I know. It was intense.
It was.
What else do you feel like?
I'm glad you've learned some stuff.
I did. I learned a lot
from
through
the
you.
experience.
I've been here for 3 years, so that was like in the very beginning.
Yeah, it was the very beginning
of our journey. What else do you feel like was a really trying thing to deal with, other than like the lack of sleep, other than all that? What else do you feel like in the very beginning, at least?
In the very beginning, what was trying?
I'm going to give you a hint.
Okay. Yeah, remind me, because I'm a little bit...
The mailman. And all your stack of mail, all your bills, everything that you refused. Do you still not look at them, Ray? Ray.
It's something I'm working on in therapy.
Do we still don't look at the mail.
I looked at it the other day, which was good. Just like... It was 2 pieces of meal. But yeah, it's been 3 years.
It's okay. It's fine. I'm not judging you at all. I don't judge anyone. I laugh with you.
I'm working on,
okay.
on this in therapy.
Still an act.
My homework this week is to look through the meal.
And bring proof that you did.
And bring proof that I did. I think I was told I need to take pictures, so.
Okay. That's progress.
Yeah.
Not perfection.
No, and I actually opened some meal.
Okay.
There's nothing in there. I mean, I have everything on auto pay, thank God, or the lights would be off and all that.
It's just a fear of meal.
Yeah.
But back then it was like the wreckage. It was like a little bit more of like the wreckage that you left behind with like outpaying things or whatever, right?
Yeah, but honestly, I've been not looking at the mail for quite some time. I don't know what it's about.
Okay.
Trying to figure it out.
I feel like
It's progress.
it's literally fine.
It's not perfection.
It's literally fine. It was something I remembered being a part of your journey, so I figured we'd touch on it.
Yeah. No, that's funny. I forget like half the stuff that is going on.
Yeah, even the stuff you're still working on.
Yeah. Well, I forget half the stuff that's gone on over the past 2.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, trauma suppresses your memory, too. And some things are traumatic.
Well, considering how much I remember, I must have had plenty of trauma.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself, too.
Of course, I don't know what it is. Still working on figuring out what the trauma is or could have been.
Even the trauma suppressed, we might not ever remember. It's fine.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I do recall Ray telling me all the time that Clean in the 90s does not remember any of the 90s.
That's when all the trauma occurred.
Probably. That's the only decade I really forgot.
I'm telling you.
I was clean.
There must be so much trauma in those 90s. If you can't remember anything, I don't remember any of my childhood.
I remember stuff if people bring up specific things. I'll be like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like I've got complete amnesia.
Not me. It's like I was never there.
But I just I can't remember stuff, and then somebody will remind me. I'll be like, oh, yeah. Kind of feel like I was watching that from sometimes somebody else's perspective.
Sometimes somebody can show a person a picture and it triggers the memory. I can't even do that. I will look at a picture of me when I was 5 and still can't remember anything about myself or my life.
Yeah.
So, I do no work.
That's intense.
Yeah, but I do absolutely. I don't have a therapist. I do no work on that. I'm not touching it. And they say that it's bound to all come back at once. But I don't think so. So we're gonna find out through me. I think.
But that's how I feel too. It's I just changed therapists, and the last one was a little bit more laid back. And this one, actually wants to do work. I'm like, are you
bullshit.
Shitting me? I'm not ready for work. Let's have a nice conversation here and see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm supposed to just shoot the shit with you right now.
Talking about my mother and all this bullshit.
I'm literally here to shoot the shit. What are you talking about? Get away from me. Trauma therapy?
Yeah, exactly.
No, thank you.
You know how I used to walk out of,
Yeah.
out of my therapy sessions all the time laughing. Now it's homework and
seriousness. Yeah. Ew. That sounds miserable.
But
you need it.
I need it because I want to know why I can't open my mail. Mm-hmm. I want to know why I can't do the simple things that people can do. Mm-hmm. And I want to get over it.
Yeah.
I'm getting over lots of stuff. But to kind of at least know why.
The broken parts of you exist.
I'm not broken. Yeah.
That podcast is called Mended, Ray.
No, I'm not broken. That's a lie. But there's nothing wrong with being broken.
No, we're all broken.
Yeah. At least, you know what? We know we're broken. Mm-hmm. That is
that's what I love about this community.
Yeah, that's so much. We're so far ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. And when you can admit, yeah, I'm broken. That's takes all the pressure off.
Yeah, because
no
one can use it against you.
But so isn't everybody else broken?
Yeah, but the people that are in denial.
Well, they're never going to get better.
No.
We got a chance. I got a chance.
You got a shot.
I got a shot.
I was at a meeting, I think it was 2 weeks ago, for someone's celebration. And it was an AA meeting in Melrose, and they said, oh my God, never mind. I'm not supposed to say it. Never mind. I heard somebody once say, though, that people in this community have a leg up on society. And I found it powerful because it's true. You guys, you have a leg up on society as far as working a program, having the steps, and all of that. It's
And people go through their whole lives completely fucked up only because they don't drink or use drugs, and they're home beating their wives or whatever their thing is, but they would never think of going to get help for it because it's not like
the help isn't
mainstream.
right there.
Yeah, it's not like mainstream. Now it's like
We're doing a fucking podcast about it.
yeah, exactly. And the stigma is like, not that it's gone, but it's definitely, at least within our community, it's like
Lightened up.
we're kind of over it.
Yeah.
But
That's why we stay with each other too, though. That's why we're like within our community, and we don't really branch off. And
I keep showing up here. I'm like, what am I doing here?
you can't. I already told you can't ever go anywhere. You can't.
I know, and and sometimes I'm like, what am I still doing here? And then I'm like,
I'm still
where
sober.
else? Where else would I be?
And
like
you're still sober.
I'm still sober, and it hasn't been that hard, and it's because I have someplace to go.
And you show up.
And I show up.
Build
and
the connections and maintain the connections.
Yeah.
And the opposite of addiction is connection.
Yeah. And I do what you're supposed to do. I come in, I sit in a group, I keep my mouth shut, I'm not on my phone. There are some
things. You're getting
things.
your therapy. You're taking other people to meetings. You're like doing it.
Yeah. Which I don't feel like I am, but if you look at it like that, yeah, I'm sort of doing it.
You're doing it.
Not doing as many meetings as I should be doing, but
It's fine.
But that's why I keep my foot in the door here.
Mm-hmm. They say, as long as you're like in therapy or whatever, right? He's yelling at me. Okay.
I was gonna say,
He's holding over here. Why are you not yelling at him?
Did he forget how to talk?
I can hear him. I can hear him well. He's got the label towards him. He's doing well.
I don't know how it moved. Okay. What else? Can you give me some other interview questions? Because this is my first official interview. It was just him and I shooting the shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've gotten clean twice. How easy was it for you to do it or how hard was it for you to do it the first time, and how different is it now?
That's a good question.
Way to show me up.
The first time, the first time it was crazy.
Does not remember because it was the 90s.
It was early 90s. That decade isn't gone from my memory. No, but like the 80s were so much fun.
I've heard.
Until they weren't.
I've heard.
And,
I can't
and
speak
like,
on it. But.
And like, I don't remember like towards the end of my drinking, I don't remember a lot. Like, I was sort of like in a blackout for, I don't know what the period of time was.
It's okay.
No, that like literally, I don't like. It could have been a year, could have been 3 years.
I'm
not
really
memory. Sure. It's like, I don't remember. But like, it got to a point where I'd be driving up Route 1, come out of a blackout, mid-sentence with somebody. And I was like, that scared me.
You could recognize that you were like snapping out of it.
Yeah.
And like back into
I'd
reality.
go from not know what happened like the second before. And I'd be driving. And I'm a bit of a control freak. So I was like, when I got to the point where I was out of control, which was like all the time, like I'd forget my car places. I think I'd lost. I would think I lost my keys, but I didn't lose my keys. My keys would be in my car. My car would be running. Like, that was not me. Mm-hmm. Like, I kind of was a little bit together when I was drinking, at least a little bit. At least I thought so. When I got to a point where shit like that was happening,
you're like, whoa, I need help. What did recovery look like back in the 90s? Like the process. Walk us through it.
The process.
If you can remember.
No, this part I remember. I went to the place in Belmont. It's like, I always forget the name
McLean?
of it. McLean. And locked ward.
Well, there's a huge stigma around McLean. McLean actually has a really, really, really good substance use program within it, detox, all of that. But a lot of people, there's like a stigma that it's a psych ward. It's only for crazy people or people that are struggling with their mental health. But they do have a good detox program.
The detox, I went in there and it was intense. It went from like 8 or 9 in the morning until 8 or 9 at night. Groups every hour. You had to go to the groups. If you slept through them, that was fine, but you needed to be there. You know, it's not like now queen beds with the TV.
A resort.
Yeah, there was none of that. There was none of that. There was twin beds in a room that was either too hot or too cold.
3 meals a day.
3 meals a day, and you just did stuff all day long. And I was in there for about 7 days.
So your experience there was better than the experience this time around getting sober?
It was just different. I didn't know any better.
Wasn't any better or any worse.
Wasn't
It was just different.
Well, I mean, yeah, the place that I went to this time was, it was nice. My own TV, you know, a bed, which was useless because I didn't sleep the whole time. I was walking around the
unit.
Just walking around all night long. Thank God the security lady there was like walking with me half the time.
Sleep was your nightmare.
It was, yeah.
Very funny.
But it was, this time around, it was like, I don't know, completely different. Like 10 years before I got clean, I'm like, put it in my head. Like, as soon as my kids are in college.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as the kids are in college, I'm going to get clean. You know, like, I literally thought of this, like, when they were probably 10 years old.
Yeah, like delusional thinking.
Delusional
I
thinking.
need this to get through the rest of their childhood. Once they're grown, I'm done.
Yeah. And as soon as they were out, I actually started.
Your recovery process?
Yeah. Yeah, I started like a year before I actually got clean. I'm like, I got to lose some weight because there's no way, because I was so afraid of how bad it was going to be. Little did I know it was worse than I thought it was going to be. But not to scare anybody. I'm through it. I got through it. But, so I started going to the gym. What the gym consisted of at that time was...
Social hour, whatever.
It was...
Some light walking on the treadmill.
Little light walking on the... I mean, I was almost 300 pounds at the time, too, so... But it would start... Before I would leave the house, it would be an Adderall and some Fetty.
Mm-hmm.
The gym was a little bit more fun back then. That's a joke. That's a joke.
No, there can be some truth to it, too.
No, there was a little truth to it, but now I have a routine, and I have someone that I enjoy going to the gym with every day. I look forward to it. We won't mention any names.
You better stop that.
Stop it. Stop it.
You better stop.
Yeah, so it's a completely different experience. But
It's me. I go to the gym with Ray.
We said no. Shout outs.
And where was I? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so I started like a year before. I started going, what's the stuff that they give you? Not methadone, the other one. Suboxone. This is where like my...
Your memory's still gapped a little. It's okay.
I just couldn't remember the name.
It's fine.
I remembered what I did, and I was trying to like go on the Suboxone, and that just was not working for me. It just never did. Thank God, because as much as like I went through a lot of pain, when I got through the pain, it was done. Mm-hmm. It wasn't go through the pain, I mean, get on something else,
and then
have to go through the pain again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like when I was done, I was done. Pain was over. So, but
Luckily now there's so many other options though. Like people can do because I don't want anyone to think that like a lot of people think that abstinence is the way, and that's true for a lot of people, and I don't disagree with that. But then there also are people that absolutely do need maintenance in order to gain long-term sobriety. And luckily now, like the option for Suboxone is way less stressful than it was, because you can now get on like the Sublocade injection and not have and then just
And you
ease
don't
your way
have
off
to
of
worry
that.
about it.
You don't have to worry about withdrawals from
Yeah.
Suboxone or anything after that. So that it is, what's the word? Evolving? Is it evolving?
yeah, yeah. There's no judgment by
Yeah,
me,
no,
like
no,
saying
I knew
like
that.
that was the way that
Yeah.
it worked for me.
Yeah, and I'd be grateful too.
And everybody has their own journey to go through. You know,
Yeah.
whatever works for you, you got to do what works for you.
Whatever saves your life.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's literally no shame in the way that anyone gets sober as long as you get there.
Yeah. And whatever. I mean, however many times you need to try, as long as you're willing to keep trying, like you have a chance. It's like when you stop being willing to try, then you don't have a chance.
Yeah, then it gets scary. What do you consider your biggest piece of advice? I know, that's a good one.
That's a good one. My biggest piece of advice. Just start. Just do it. And then go one step at a time after that. You know, you just got to make the decision to actually do it.
You can't just try either. You can't
No,
try.
I mean, you have to like...
You have to do it. And I say that to people all the time, like, trying isn't enough when it comes to your life. You can't just say, I'm trying, because that gives you the excuse that when you fail, you can say you tried.
Yeah.
You can't just try. You have to do it.
See, if you're lucky enough and you get the gift of desperation, as they say, I think it's easier because you don't like really have a choice at that point. But just, I don't know, just even knowing that you need to do something is huge, because I went through years of denial without thinking, you know, till I was losing my car with the keys in it and running and
Thought you were functioning.
I thought I was functioning, not going to work like days in a row.
Because you didn't know what day it was.
Because I didn't know what day it was. Well, I didn't know what season it was most of the time.
And then you wonder why you can't remember anything.
Yeah,
How has
those-
how has your family been with your recovery, if you don't mind me asking? I feel like
Good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Supportive?
actually, very supportive. You know, it's like not a taboo subject. If they want to ask me about it, that's fine. You know, my kids are very supportive.
Do they have the knowledge around it, the disease and what it is and what it looks like?
I don't really know because I kept it hidden. Like, at least I thought I kept it hidden. But it wasn't like people were finding me OD'd on the floor or, you know, it was more like, yeah, like the first time around when I was drinking, there was no hiding anything. This time around, doing dope and stuff, it was like...
It is possible to keep it hidden. It doesn't sound foolish to say it or to hear it, because it is possible to keep it hidden. And it can stay manageable for a very long time before it becomes unmanageable enough or until something tragic happens, like overdose or things like that. It can...
And that's the thing, it didn't get unmanageable. I actually had to like put the brakes on.
Which is even more crazy for your story,
Which
right?
is even more crazy. Like,
Because why would
how did I,
anyone
like-
stop if it's not even unmanageable? But your
I-
soul becomes tired.
Yeah. No, it was work. It was work. And I'm like, I turned a certain age. And I'm like, I don't have it in me anymore. Like, I don't have the hustle to like be dealing with drug dealers and all that stuff. And quite frankly, I I had things set up quite perfectly. It was a text message, Venmo, and the thing would end up in my mailbox. So it wasn't like I was dumbass or anything.
You were fucking cruising through it. Cruising through your whole active addiction.
I was crushing addiction.
Top fucking tier.
Top tier. I was a great junkie. I had things set up perfectly.
Couldn't be smoother.
And still, it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and knew I had to get out.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with the rest of your life, right?
And another thing was to, like, you don't realize how fast time goes by. And then I'm like, I want to be around for my kids. I want to be around for myself.
Mm-hmm. You want to be present and actually feel things and be there. And
I didn't even consider the feeling things.
Mm-hmm.
That goes with its own set of demands.
Imagine you had to stop feeling again.
Feeling again, or for the first time, actually. That's how I really feel. I feel like I'm feeling for the first time.
Yeah. Well, because there was the 80s and 90s.
There was
and
the
then
80s
there was
and 90s.
The 20 years of using, yeah.
Yeah.
It really is like the first time.
I started when I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I used until I was 33. Then I was clean for about 10-ish years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started using again. So, and in those 10 years, I didn't do enough work to really get normal.
I was just going to ask, when you were clean for those 10 years, were you sober or were you in recovery? Because I feel like those are two separate things.
They are two separate things. I was in recovery for a couple of years.
Okay.
And then, then life started happening.
Mm-hmm.
And got in a relationship and felt like, oh, I wanted to be home instead of going to meetings. I hated the people at the meetings. All of a sudden, you know, and then like, now what I realize is that you can have somebody at home and you can go to meetings. You can actually do both.
Imagine that. Wild
That's
word.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to realize that, like, then I didn't make the connection. Now it's like, what's wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why was I so stupid? It's because I didn't have enough recovery in me to know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting in a relationship, codependent. It's a word that was thrown at me the other day.
Codependency is real. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You just learning about that now in therapy?
Yes.
You can become codependent with anything. Literally talking on the phone when you're driving. I think that I'm codependent with that. Like, I don't want to sit with myself, so I'll call somebody as I'm driving home all the time. That itself is codependent.
Then I'm codependent with my music because it's on full blast, so I don't have to think of.
Yeah, that doesn't do it for
I don't
me
have
anymore.
to listen to what's going on in my head.
My thoughts became too loudy for my stereo system in my car. You're like screaming. So what else? What do you feel like? What do you feel like today? Like, what is today? Because every day is different, right? Yesterday was different. The day before is different as far as your emotions, where you're at. Like, what do you feel today, genuinely, that you can tell somebody?
I feel good. I take care of myself. Like, my day revolves around self-care and being good to myself. Start off every day at the gym. Then I just like the rest of the day is all about me. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm in a position to.
Yeah, you've raised your kids and you've put your time in, and
yeah, I'm in a position to like enjoy. But it's like making that connection in itself is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been retired for like 15 years or whatever, and I'm like just getting to the point where I'm like, oh shit, I can do whatever I want.
And you're not using on top of it.
And, well, that's why I finally made the connection, because I can actually do whatever I want. I am a free person, free from drugs, free from
not tied
work,
to anything.
free from, and like kind of making that connection is huge.
Does it ever get lonely sometimes?
What?
Just being so independent and being so free.
No. Why would I be lonely?
I don't know. I felt like it was a question to ask.
No, I mean, I'm not lonely because I got so many people in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get lonely, I walk through the door here.
That's it. That's
You know?
kind of what I was looking for.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I have people at home. I have the kids at home, but
Mm-hmm.
they're only a phone call away.
Yeah.
And my son's a huge pain in the ass. He's constantly,
Shout out to Ray's son.
he's always making me do stuff, you know, so that keeps me pretty busy. And then, like I said, if I get bored or I get lonely, walk through the door here, and it's like very uplifting.
Did you have this many people in your life prior to getting sober? Prior to being in recovery?
No.
All your connections were made after the fact? Not all, but like the connections you've made, like did you struggle with connections prior to becoming
I was on my own, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I got high by myself
Mm-hmm.
because basically nobody knew I was getting high.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew. They might have thought I was getting high, but like, yeah, I was, yeah, very, very solo on my own. I had people around me, but they didn't know what was going on, so
Mm-hmm.
there was only half of my world that they knew about.
Yeah. You had that other half all to yourself.
Yeah,
That's a dark place to be.
it is.
As manageable as you kept it.
As manageable as I kept
That
it.
and alone itself, like addiction in mayhem is a full-time job, but addiction in managing it like the way that you explained you did is also crazy to think
Yeah.
of.
It is kind of crazy.
Because you had to like remain a perfectionist even in your darkest times. That's a lot of work.
That's where I get
Yeah.
control issues. I think that was another thing that was brought up in therapy.
It's all coming to light.
And for some reason, I was able to control opioids way better than I could control alcohol.
Mm.
Because alcohol got to a point where I was completely out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And the opioids, I could keep control. I kept manageable.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, like most people, like have to keep going up and up and up, and I just kind of,
Maintenance toast it the whole time.
I was high as fuck.
I was high as fuck on my maintenance dose.
Truth be told, I was high as fuck.
You're too much. He's too much. Well, do you got anything else? Any other questions, Steve?
I think we're all pretty good. I think we're at about 39 minutes. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
did pretty well. Thanks for being on, Ray.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Yeah, I did set an
No,
alarm. I did set an alarm this morning, by the way.
For what?
I've been I've been sleeping
it didn't
through
work.
the gym.
You're his fucking favorite gym buddy.
I know. Well, I'm his second favorite. Dan's probably got to be the favorite.
I am not copying to either one of those.
All right. Well,
I love you both.
It's a tie.
igualmente.
And
It's like asking us which kid is our favorite out of our kids.
You have a
Exactly.
favorite.
My son's my favorite. my daughter's it's a different love. I think we've talked about that.
Yeah.
It's a different love.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really have anything else other than tune in next week for whoever we get next week. My buddy Harris might be on next week.
Cool. I gotta write myself down some questions. I didn't prepare for this.
Yeah, the only one I had was thinking about like getting like Dick Cavett note cards. Was I talking to you about this? Yeah.
What the fuck are those?
You don't remember the Dick Cavett show?
What the fuck is that?
No, it's a show from the 70s.
For some reason, he remembers all these
He
things.
was born like
98.
like 20, 30 years later.
he was born in like the 20s.
The
Like
20s.
in his head.
Yeah, no, basically. I would love to be born in the roaring 20s. That'd
The
be
Gatsby.
cool.
Is that the Gatsby
Are you
time?
sure
It
you
was.
weren't? He probably was because he, for some reason, knows like
He's an old soul.
all stuff. And I look at him and I'm like, how do you even like?
Like, how does he know about what the
is
fuck
this
he
like-
just said?
Like, I'll say is like reference something. He catches on every single time. I'm like, That was like even like before I was born.
I didn't have any friends growing up. This is what I did, was just go, what happened? Where?
You're just
what happened?
A fountain full of knowledge.
I was born and I was like, what happened?
Where am I?
Where am I? What has happened the last 100 years?
What's going on?
What's going on?
I can't.
Yeah. I had to know about great big figures like Ed Sullivan and Dick Cavett.
Oh my
I
God.
was shocked at the
can't.
Ed Sullivan that you knew that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the big thing, to be on Ed Sullivan.
Yeah. Well, see, you like music and stuff, so that's
Yeah.
why.
You lost
That would
me.
make
I'm a
sense.
true 90s baby.
I remember
So,
I tried to
know
put
nothing
on
else.
the Monkeys at the beach one time, and Lauren was like, shut this shit off.
You don't know the Monkees?
Oh.
House of the Rising Sun. But that wasn't the song. It was the other one.
That's the Monkees? No.
Was it the
that's
Animals?
House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah, it's the Monkeys.
I'm checked out. I'm not
I
even
don't
here,
know.
so don't
We're
even.
gonna need
Regardless.
We're gonna need to Google
We're going to
that.
have to Google it. Some listener will be so mad if I...
Yeah.
But
We might have to.
whatever. I might cut this out.
You might have to cut that out because. I don't think it's.
Are you looking it up, Laura?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm reading my text.
Do you think she remembers the name of the song you just said?
No. Oh, da, 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 da. Oh, don't be. Fuck. What is it? I know the melody, but I don't know the lyrics. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. That song I had on the beach, and not that
That's
matters.
not the Monkees.
Who is it then?
It's been done over a million times.
Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. All right, well, thanks
And
for.
of course, every single one of the artists have left my mind.
Or died.
All right.
Oh no, they're all dead.
All
But I
right.
can't even remember the names of them.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening. Tune in.
Bye.
Tune in next week.